Welcome back. Glad to have you. I'm Albert Winks. You know this. I'm the veteran money coach, veteran strategy coach. Know all about all kinds of money for you veterans out there. And today I've got Steve and Taraj are with us, and I'll let them introduce yourselves here in a second. If you don't know me, I don't say shame on all of us. Only veterans know veterans. So 95% of my clients come from word of mouth. And let me tell you a little bit about what I do before I have these guys introduce themselves. So I have two main menus. One of them is helping veterans get to their money, and I've delivered over $10 billion, $10 billion to the deadliest humans on earth. And they're the best and deadliest, by the way, not just the deadliest. So SEAL teams come to me, Delta guys come to me, MARSOC, 160th fighter pilots, all that kind of stuff. And even if I told you who I talked to today, you'd probably pee yourself. So, but the best and deadliest humans come to me, and that's why I'm out here now. I've delivered over $10 billion to them. And every one of them says the same thing. Like, oh man, if it's so hard for us, Joe average out there is getting fucked. So yes, that's the correct response. Yes, you guys out there are getting screwed over. So your money is the money that you've earned through your service is always through compliant, accurate paperwork with the government. And that's what I help guide you through. So let me help you out on that. So just to give you guys a stat. So the 65,000 veterans a month are Googling for help with their money, with the money that they've earned through their service. And that's just 65,000 that are asking for help. There's just a little over 18 million living veterans right now. So imagine how many of them are getting paid their money. Because every veteran, if you're a non-retiree, it's about $5,000 a month that you should receive. The VA calls it disability. It's really, if you look deeper, it's called pension, compensation and pension. So the VA loves putting words, and the government loves putting words out there that scare you off. So you're worth about $5,000 a month, up to, if you're a retired person, you should receive about $7,500 a month cash in the hand, and it should be tax-free and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot more money than that. So we'll talk more about that later. But that's one side of my menu. The other side of my menu is empire building. Why don't we have veteran empires? We've got Grunt Style. We've got Nine Line Apparel, a few others out there, Black Rifle Coffee, shit like that. Where are all the veteran empires? I'm going to help get them back. So you are the next empire. So you guys may have heard about this, that I've got a book that went to #1 on the Amazon's pre-sale list. And so I'm a #1 best-selling author now on Amazon. And my book is strategically placed in 3 main places. One is under military policy, where Art of War is. Another place is within personal finance, things like the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So if you're looking at those on Amazon, you're going to find this guy. First $5 you need to give yourself. So it's a lot of F words. So things like faith and family and fitness and fun and obviously F for finances. And there's other free Fs in there too. So things like freedom and all that kind of jazz. So I'm going to refer to the book as well as we keep going. But that book is the first of 4 that are coming out this year. And there's some other ones that are over my shoulder that you can see back here. But I've got a contract with a book publisher to do four books just to get started. And he said, Albert, I hear you about your other book ideas. What do people need to know about? So I said, man, these guys are getting fucked. There's no veteran out there. I see Steve's eyes. I know there's absolutely no veteran. Guys, I've briefed tens of thousands of veterans. And I see you guys face to face when I go to special operations conventions and things like that. No veteran ever that I've ever briefed has said, Albert, I'm receiving every nickel of that money you're telling me about, and I'm just living my best life. Nobody. 65,000 veterans a month are looking for help, screaming for help, and they're not getting answers. So that's why I don't like writing books, but I'm doing it for you guys. I have podcasts. I love chatting with these dudes, but I'm doing it to say, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's what they're doing. Here's what we're doing to help veterans. So I'm intentional. That's another F, by the way, force multiplier. These guys in the room right now, they're force multipliers. So just want to let you know. All right, that's enough out of me. I'm going to sit down and zip it. And guys, please feel free to introduce yourself again with a minute or two of what you did in the service and what you're doing now, so everybody out there can get to know you, and we'll take it from there.
Go ahead, Taraj.
Thank you, man. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Raj Rosebay. I was a former United States Army. Served 6 years. Did logistics and military information operation. Deployed twice to oversee Afghanistan and Middle East. Currently, I'm a founder of Rostec Solution, is a small business, a service-owned veteran company based out of Virginia. We provide mainly in provide service in the field of information technology and cybersecurity to government and business to business. um, I'm glad to be in this podcast and looking to, discuss some strategies about business and how, veterans can, collaborate and we can, bring strategies and different, venues that we can work out in and help each other. Because end of the day, as veterans, who can trust another veteran? One of my mentor told me that the only companies that you can trust and go, important is, your first priority should be if you find a veteran company, 100% give a chance to it because at the end of the day, these people are, trustworthy and they're hardworking and they know in and out of bureaucracy. So I'm always looking forward to speak to the veterans and those who are looking into government contracting. Cybersecurity is another big thing within the government contracting and also in commercial side. So I'm glad to be here and looking forward to have a fruitful conversation with Albert and Stephen.
Good shit. Steve, fire away.
Hi, my name is Stephen Alder. I'm former Army as well. I primarily started in 92 Yankee Logistics and Supply because I figured, well, every unit needs a supply weenie. Everyone needs a cook. Everyone needs an admin guy. So I spent most of my time in an aerial reconnaissance unit that was in direct support to Task Force Odin.
Okay, nice.
So in the 8 years I was in, 2 tours, we were in direct support for 160th. Our 6th year unit was 7th 158th, 7th 159th, Extortion 17. So if you're familiar with that one, that was our sister unit. So 11th TAC did not take that very well. And so anyway, what I do now, I'm an industrial mechanic. Now, that does not mean vehicles. I'm talking big machines, welding, fabricating, making things for other people, or improving what they have. The business model I'm going to be going over today with you guys is basically what I've learned over the years, because I'm tired of getting ghosted by recruiters.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah, the job market for veterans sucks.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, 350 job applications in the last year, 10 interviews. All of them ghosted me.
Yeah. It's crazy how they do that shit, right?
I'm like,
That's
dude.
what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't you much rather work for a veteran anyway? I mean, that's why I put in the book too, man. I mean, I've learned so much crap. I've eaten so much fucking nasty shit sandwiches from the civilian world. I'm like, why do that? Let me just work with people I want to work with. And
I mean, I'm coming to the table with 25 years experience total time, 3 college degrees, and I'm doing all the stuff that ARAP and the VA and everyone else is saying to do. Oh yeah, we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We'll keep your information for next time. This is my 3rd attempt. But I digress. I mean,
so it sounds like you're just getting started out on some kind of cool idea, like I said, business idea. Yeah.
That's cool. Yep. Something that I saw similar in Portland, Oregon, or as I call it, Sodom and Gomorrah. It's worse in person. Much worse. I lived there during the whole riots and nonsense.
No, the Summer of Love or whatever the fuck that they tried to call
that.
Yeah,
oh dude. My God. One of my next door neighbors was a SWAT commander for the FBI. I discovered that because he parked his Rhino in his front yard.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, don't go to Portland without armor.
Wow.
Or a weapon. So I'm like, I go up to get my mandatory COVID shot. Don't get me started. I go up to the VA hospital, and I literally have my plates on and my Glock in my side console. Yeah, that that was a nightmare going through that city. I'm not doing it again.
That's nuts. So give us an idea what your business idea is.
Okay, so something that I saw in Portland was kind of similar, where it was a skills-based learning experience. But then I looked at how a lot of people are going away from the collegiate environment and going towards trade schools.
I'm glad both of you guys are in the room. This is divine intervention. We're going to talk about that. Keep going.
Yeah, because when I was a facilities manager for a transformer company, I hired a bunch of guys, and one kid came straight from a trade school, and he wired up a 480 volt motor for 220, single phase. If you've ever worked around electrical, you know that that's basically like sticking a live toaster in your bathwater. Level of stupid.
Yeah,
I'm like, obviously he had to miss that day, or the curriculum didn't match. My idea is this: create an environment or a business where people can come in, learn how to repair their own items, their own tools, their own stuff at home, but at the same time have classes available, kind of like how Home Depot did the whole classes on how to build a little birdhouse and stuff like that. But this is more entailed. Now, I've picked up on how to do mechanical, electrical, plumbing, welding, fabricating, all of it for the past 20 years. And I approach training employees the same way that I approach training my soldiers. In that, okay, we're going to crawl, walk, and run. So the curriculum's going to be set up in that way. You got your beginner level, your intermediate, and then your advanced. And so they can literally like rent tools from you so that they can go to a different workbench in that building. Like, okay, I got a bunch of workbenches fully stocked around here, and we run classes. How do I weld? Well, there's 20 different ways of welding. What would you like to learn?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
it's
cool.
like an a la carte learning trade school where you can get interested in doing it. Because my twin brother works as a home remodeler, and his bread and butter are the DIYers. The guys who decide, yeah, I'm going to put a screw through this wall right into my service main.
Now, one problem turns into 900 problems. Yeah.
Well, it's more like 220 volts of problems because the guy's drill exploded in his hand.
Shit. Yeah.
So it's not that people don't want to learn, it's that they don't know how.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go through a whole trade school of, okay, this is a screw. It goes like this, starting from zero. No, I want you to tell me what you know so I can build that curriculum for you. And then we can move forward, build off of what you already know. Because
so you think about being a for-profit or a non-profit, or what? What's your thoughts?
I would be a for-profit, but at the same time, I'd have two separate categories. One, you can bring in something and I'll repair it for you, or one of my staff will repair it for you and send you back out on your way. Or you can come in and learn how to do it.
And where are you located?
Pocatello, Idaho.
Okay, I know.
Yeah, so there is a very large market that's coming in because now there's a bunch of large box stores that are coming into this city, and they're doing a revitalization in this area. And I noticed there is not a lot of repair shops.
Yeah.
Because back in Portland, there was a place called the Charles H. Day Company, where I would go to buy professional grade power tools, and they would repair it for you if it was worth repairing. Because you bring them a Ryobi, they'll laugh you out the door. I was like, okay, so what if I marry the two? Mini trade school based upon skills you want to learn, repair shop.
Yeah.
And in the middle, I can teach you how to do it, so you don't have to rely upon other people. Create that self-reliance, and at the same time, hold fathers and sons nights, hold mother and daughter nights.
Yeah, that's cool.
So the idea is to build those skills, build that confidence, so that they can go forth and do great things. And at the same time, I don't have to be at the mercy of civilians who have absolutely no idea what we bring to the table. Because
It's
that curse of a soldier is real.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, man. I've heard all about it and I've been through it myself. Yeah. It's nuts. I'm glad you guys are both on today. It's again, divine intervention, because the somebody here a couple weeks ago there was two people in the room, just like us, strangers coming together, and they both happen to be in the medical field helping veterans with other things that the VA is now trying to get involved in, with, like, other drugs. So like psilocybins and mushrooms and what else do you call that stuff? Marijuana stuff and all that kind of jazz. So anyway, but
Do you know what was his name? Was he
oh
from
man, I
Marine?
have to look at those guys. Yeah, because there's a male and female that were on here. So
Yeah, I know one of my buddies. He's a Marine. He's based out of New York. He was going into. He was discovering how to kind of bring in the mushrooms and for like medical stuff. Maybe I thought maybe you were talking about him, but it could be somebody else. But
yeah, the woman, she's a nurse and teaches nurses. Most of us wear multiple hats too, right? So that's why
absolutely,
it's nice to finally put a hat on and go, okay, hey, I am a for-profit or I'm a non-profit, and here's what I do and here's what I don't do, that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I'm a for-profit, just to let everybody know in the room. So yep, I charge my clients and I make them a hell of a lot more money than they spend on me. Works out nicely. So, and I've got staff and they've got kids, and there's a lot of people that rely on me, and I fucking get it done. So that's what I do. But
absolutely.
Gerard, I want to talk to you about this too. So there's on LinkedIn. There's two types of people I reach out to. Because I'm a former medevac pilot, so I was infantry enlisted, and I got turned down for a couple other things. I tried to go out for special operations stuff on the ground. They said no. How about flying as a warrant officer? No. How about, well, fuck it, I guess I'll do it the slow way, ROTC. Finally, I got a yes to fly. So I've been told no more than an ugly stripper. So I'm just telling you, man, it's going to happen. So around every goddamn corner is a fucking no staring me in the face. But you got to just work around it. You got to keep moving forwards, man. So, but yeah, so pilots are mostly ones that I reach out to, and special operators on LinkedIn. And when I'm typing for somebody, I'm like, Green Beret, 160th, fighter pilots. But I'll type in cybersecurity. Cyber guys, I don't know why, but mostly Marines are turned into cyber guys. And I'm not sure the connection on that, but very similar to what we've talked about thus far. No matter how many degrees you've got, I've got 2 master's degrees. Every time I say that, I follow it up with, but nobody gives a shit. No, hospitals don't give a fuck that I flew hundreds of missions and all that kind of stuff in Afghanistan. They're like, oh, I know you're a medevac pilot and all, and you're a combat captain, but you know what? You don't have any. How many clinical hours do you have? Are you fucking kidding me? So you have to get some kind of dog shit. I mean, Steve.
Yeah,
that further.
I had that problem too.
Man, I am Lean Six Sigma for fucking hospital stuff. I got more. I had so many letters after my name. I said, you know what? You know the letters that really matter. The being a service disabled small business owner. That's what fucking matters. Because there are so many veterans advocates out there who are not fucking veterans, and they don't do a good job. Because they just go, I don't know. I'm helping veterans. Are you? But are you? So anyway, back to Raj on this, that certificates and stuff. So I talked to a couple of guys. They were on one of my earlier podcasts. They were 2 guys that knew each other since 3rd grade. So it was hilarious on that podcast. But they both are IT guys. And so I asked them about that, of like, what is more valuable these days? Is it degrees? Is it certificates? And they both quickly chimed in. I'm 44. They're older than I am. They both quickly chimed in. They said, you know what it is? It's people. People is the most important. So good people, somebody that you can, like Steve's already alluded to or said very plainly, they're going to fucking show up on time, handle the task, handle the standard, and fucking handle their goddamn emotion. Be a little bitch, get the fucking work done. Oh, it's wet, sandy, cold. Yeah, could be worse. How about the people you're trying to help? They're cold, wet, and sandy too, motherfucker. Fix the shit. Fix the hole. Don't make a hole in the first place. Do it the right way. Like they say, measure twice and cut once, right? So, but just anyway, going back to Raj on some, how'd you get into cybersecurity?
No, thank you. So initially, my bachelor's degree was in government international politics. I did my bachelor's and my master's in cybersecurity. Uh, I think I was second year in college. My brother just went into college, and he just uh, at that point I was like, no, I'm not really into cybersecurity. I'm into more, communication, politics, government, international politics, and whatnot. But later on, I find out that politics is really it's one of those weird fields. It's all about satisfying that next person. So at the end
Mhm.
of the day, it's about satisfying the next person. So I was like, do I really want to do this for rest of my year? I just have to satisfy this person to get the next job, and then do the same thing. Because performance or KPIs, those metrics within the field of politics is not really it doesn't really factor in your promotion and how well you do within the career. It's all about politics, who connection. Are you going to do this? Are you going to bow to this person and then accept that? So, just more from morale standpoint, I was not that sort of individual. So I was like, I think I need to change my life and whatnot. So and then my brother was my whole family were all in cybersecurity, my all siblings, my whatnot. So uh, but I was too late to, switch my degrees because I didn't want to waste the time to. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna, continue on getting the bachelor's degree because I already invested 2 years. So I went in and finished that. But in the meantime, I started doing a lot of certification, got a job and whatnot. So and I was able to get into cybersecurity and then start, landing jobs. A few, just to name, is threat hunting, going after the bad actors, analyzing, behaviors. Basically, you're the red team that goes after, all, adversaries, internal and external. Information system security officer, information assurance, cybersecurity engineer. So just a few that I worked to, during my tenure in cybersecurity. And you were talking about nowadays it's so hard to get jobs would not I think I have to if I have to address the audience here. I think it's very critical that we have to realize that cybersecurity and AI, artificial intelligence, is the future. For some it might be some folks might not welcome it so much, but some it can be an enabler. If we look across nowadays, you have ChatGPT, you have Copilot AI, all this. They're meant to help us. There's a bad, there's the other side that there's opposition that the different possibilities and outcomes that could impact the humanity. We can set that aside for a different time discussion. But as for us, there's a lot of veterans that come out and then they're going in cybersecurity. One of the main reasons is job stability, because there's always job.
Mhm.
End of the day, we're talking about money. So end
Yeah.
of the day,
Good
everybody
money.
have kids, everybody has dues outs, and they have to cover that. So for me, one of the biggest factor was going to cybersecurity was the prime reason was money. I'm not going to uh, bluff anything like that. And I have things to pay end of the day. So that was my primary motivation going to cybersecurity because this jobs pays higher. Let's say average master degree guy that did let's say one of the fields not cybersecurity they make start 75 starting 75. You can go in cybersecurity with no education and then make 60 or 65 minimum, and you can with
Mhm.
no education, just few certification experience, you can land 150, 160. There's folks that I know they're like 210,
Mhm.
right now they're making 210, and they're all teleworking. So from that aspect, right now the government really need a lot of cyber folks. So there was a report from FBI stated that every U.S. federal contractor that works in the cybersecurity field, there's 50 Chinese hackers. So we're really screwed because we're like 50-1 ratio. So
Mhm.
for every us one individual cybersecurity professional or IT, there's 50 Chinese hackers that really can get in. So just from that aspect, looking into the metrics, it tells you that cybersecurity is to go. So I think if anybody want listening on to, the podcast and wanted to do take note and what action list that they want to do, I think first thing they just do a quick research on cybersecurity and IT if something interests them. You don't have to be a real technical guy. It's pretty easy. You just have to have common sense. I always tell people you don't have to be a genius. If you have the common sense, you'll always be successful in life. There's nothing, that beats common sense. So
Mhm.
I think you just have to use your common sense. You just do, your own calculation, and if everything works out, go for cybersecurity. I think that's the future. It is right now, and then it will be for years to come. It will be one of those hot fields that there will all be job opportunities go after. And there's no right now government. They just took one of their mandate before other fields in government. If you want to be a GS, or they call it general service, or if you be a federal employment, you had to have a minimum bachelor's degree. Right now, for cybersecurity and information technology, they have took that, waived that mandate. So you don't really, if you're 18 years old, male or female, that are looking into getting cybersecurity or IT in government, you can really get in just by having a minimum certification and knowing basic skills in IT and cybersecurity, and you can land $75,000-$80,000 government job.
Pretty cool stuff too. Like you said, it's all about personality too. And
Absolutely.
just fucking work ethic and common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, man.
Those are superpowers.
They are. It's amazing. It's amazing how people do dumb shit.
Yeah.
Just fuck everything up. Like somebody says out there, that's what I love about the for-profit versus non-profit world. My marketer said this the other day. He said, if somebody out there thinks you're expensive, anybody out there thinks anything is expensive, to do it the right way, imagine how expensive it is to do it the wrong way. Steve, take it away on that one.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, there's a saying amongst mechanics that I've heard over the years: skilled labor isn't cheap, and cheap labor isn't skilled.
Mhm.
Meaning that what I saw during COVID was that the IT guys and gals, they were everywhere. All the remote jobs were wonderful because they were so spread out. People didn't have to go anywhere. They could still get the same work done. Okay, great. But sometimes people still want to have light bulbs changed, electrical work done, trade work done, the basic infrastructure that is recession proof. Well, except when you work in residential housing, because that's not a fun market to be in. I'm talking about commercial, residential, commercial, industrial type of things. Whereas with residential, that's a whole different construction argument altogether. Yeah, the IT department is great. It is important. But at the same time, without infrastructure, you're not going to have much of anything. And it's the logistics guy in me saying, bullets don't fly without supply.
Absolutely. I was a logistic once. I was a 92 alpha at one point. So
Automated logistics specialist.
yeah, we're the
I had a
opposite
few of
guys.
you.
We don't like Yankees, so we can definitely have a lot of talk about Yankee
Dude,
versus alpha.
I was so old school that I ended up doing. I had a lot of downtrace reserve units. What I would end up doing as an E5, I would end up flying to these downtrace units, Hood, McCoy, wherever, and I'd prep them for pre-deployment
Absolutely.
and then post-deployment. I mean, as an E5, instructing a warrant officer 2 how to run a supply room when he's a commercial pilot on the civilian side, and I just talk to him like he's a regular guy. When I'm training you, we're at this level.
Yeah, there's no.
I don't
there
care if
shouldn't
you've
be.
got 3 squares or if you're a full bird. I don't care. I'm treating you like this because I'm going to talk to you like an adult. I'm going to treat you like an adult.
Unless you
Otherwise,
fuck up.
Until you prove me otherwise.
well,
Unless
yeah, I
you
mean,
fuck up.
okay, remember, which of us have put their hands on the stove as a kid?
Yeah, I know, right?
Did you do
Couple
it
of
twice?
times. Let's see.
Did you do it again? What did you learn? Okay, so I screwed up. This is how I learned. This is how I move forward. This is my feedback. This is my immediate corrective action. Military, you get that all the time. Civilian market, get out of here. They don't have time for that. So that's the big dichotomy between the two of them. Civilians are all about getting that money quick. And now, military's like, okay, how do we do it correctly, efficiently, every time? So going back to the building of the infrastructure and through use of people on different levels. Remember what I said about collegiate people were having a hard time finding jobs? Dude, I went to a for-profit school online, Ashford. They got bombed out right after University of Phoenix did. Now my bachelor's is in project management, business flat out. When I was trying to find a job as a PM, starting wage in Portland was $90K a year. Every single one wanted what was called a PMP, professional project
Certification.
manager certificate. And I'm trying to explain, like, look, that is half of what I just completed. The PMP certificate is laser focused on just the skills, the trade type skills. Whereas my collegiate thing included statistics, which I still struggle with. But dude, don't even start. I still took pre-algebra in college. I still can't figure it out.
I know, right? I took math too many times. You don't care about it early, they're gonna fuck you later. Oh my god.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because something that my sister, who works as a teacher, she said that if somebody teaches you the right way to do it the first time, you will progress properly. But if somebody teaches you incorrectly or ineffectively, you will never progress properly.
But isn't that the model now, though? And I'll go to this to like what you're talking about, Steve, with not only the human infrastructure of education and Department of VA, Department of Homeland Security, whatever, but also to just the how to get things done right at all levels. I'm the kind of guy that I can zoom down into the weeds, but I can zoom back out and go. I can play mayor of town Albert and go, what do I want for me and mine, and how do I get that scalable? Who do I need to make sure is on my team and all kind of stuff. And but I was going to make a very valid point with the whole just getting it done at the right level. Just fucking let it happen, like human nature. Like, give me a chance to do something so we can fucking get it done. Rather than,
there's an interesting thing about human nature. It's the same no matter where you go. People want to be heard, validated, and valued. The names and places change. That's fine, but they want to be heard, valued, and validated.
Yep.
I mean, talk to a village elder in Afghanistan. What do they want to know? Are you going to take care of my people in my town and protect me from whatever group that's going to come through and cause trouble? The same thing in Iraq. That was the same principle. Is that, okay, are you going to protect me and mine? Are you going to listen to my concerns? And if we didn't, yeah, you got about 3,000 more insurgents to deal with.
That's what I learned about in SEER school. Bring it in.
SEER school for me was fun.
It's about yourself first. Like, hey, am I breathing? So do I have air? Do I have water? You probably don't have much food, but like you got the rule of 3 here of like 3 minutes without air, 3 minutes or 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. But we can come back to that. But bring it in yourself first and go, okay, who am I? What do I need to do? Then go, okay, I got those top 3 going. Now how can I help my team, and who's around me, and how can we move to the next mission or objective, that kind of thing. So
you'd be surprised what the human body is capable of when you piss someone off with that spite that, oh, you told me I can't? Hold my kombucha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Oregon.
Yeah, right. Oh shit, that's good.
That's what's driving me is that all these people, oh, well, we can't hire you right now. And then they post the job again the next day. I'm like,
well, and that's what's crazy is you're going through the same. You're going through the pains that are leading you to your passion, and you've got such a great idea with this because it's a proven model that you have to take something that's big and make it small, because small things make big things, right? So,
right,
this has been around for years. Like I went to a bunch of different schools, flight school, and I grew up on a cattle ranch. So my dad was a blacksmith, so I know everything from like, okay, in order to have a horse that wins millions and millions of dollars in its lifetime, you have to have the right kind of horseshoe and the right kind of nail, the right kind of guy. You have to have a guy.
A good farrier.
You have to have a guy, and you have to have a guide. And the guide could be, I'm going to keep holding this up because it's like the size of the book that I'm going to have. So my book is this size. So you have to have a guy and a guide. So that's what the people out there, the top 5 types of people who are making big money, what they are a human who knows how to fucking get it done and use that guide to get it done. So like you said, like electricians and tax people and consultants. So I like your idea of, like, I went to a culinary event where we took the family to go make spaghetti or something like this, lasagna or some shit at a cooking place. And they've got their kitchen on site. They do small events, and then you, of course, it's a retail store. So what do? You're spending money to be there. You're spending money to have an experience. But then you go, well, shit, you know what I need? I need that lasagna machine, and I need all the things. And so it's a self-feeding, self-licking ice cream scoop, right? That we talk about. So it pays for itself, and it attracts other people. So that's how, honestly, guys, that's how I've had over 95% of my clients come to me is through word of mouth. Because if I'm working with this SEAL team or these group of cats over here, they talk about me. And that's how I got all the Apache folks over in Qatar. Those guys are mine. Hi, guys. All the air crews and ground crews in Central America doing drug interdiction. Hi, guys. That's how I got them. You work with one, you're going to work with all of them. So anyhow, but my point back to Steve and the gang here is I like your idea, Steve. I think you need to get that going as quickly as yesterday. And I think you're going to be fucking crushing it out there, man. It's good shit. I like it.
Well, there's another way of putting it is you got to keep your learner's attention.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going on droning on and on and on, doing this sage on the stage approach, something I learned about in my master's in education for adults is if you're just constantly droning and sounding like you're talking about Clear Eyes and Visine type of commercial, where it's just that Ben Stein monotonous, deadpan commentary, nobody's going to learn diddly.
Mm-hmm.
You learn by doing. Now, following the VARC method of visual, audio, read, write, kinesthetic, and so forth, when you're a child, you're learning how to learn. When you're an adult, you're learning what to learn. So building off of that, there's this online debate about the left can't meme and the right can't meme. The right wingers, their memes are short, sweet, to the point, less than 3 lines of text. Left one is too long, didn't read.
Yeah.
And it made
that.
sense, because when you're talking about positive mimetic energy and positive mimetic reconstitution of learning, the shorter, more concise, brief level of instruction, because you look back to your soldier's manual, when you open that thing up, task, objective, terminal learning objective, your standards, those things are short, quick, to the point. Hold the grenade to your chest, flick off the spoon, the safety pin, pull the pin, prepare to throw. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Short, quick, step by step. In the medical field, I'm sure that you're familiar with how they condensed all of the nursing procedures down to a checklist. I forget the name of the checklist, but it's like 5 points, and then your patient's stabilized. And it's in very brief, very quick.
Yeah,
to
like the
understand
ABCs, right? Like airway breathing,
Yeah.
circulation.
Airway breathing, circulation. And that's the way I approach with training. So if I'm able to produce that training for others so that they can build their own understanding of the teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime, for somebody who's never caught a fish in their life. But still the same. If you're teaching somebody a rudimentary skill, which can get them interested into pursuing a full career in it, that is that hand on the stove, I'm going to learn from this moment type of learning, versus, well, I don't have a real direction in life. There was a motivational speech that Arnold Schwarzenegger gave years ago. Yes, I pronounce his name correctly.
Yeah.
Ich spreche Deutsch und English. So
nice.
he gave a speech about if you have a ship or a plane and your captain doesn't know where to go, you're just going to drift aimlessly through life and not get anywhere, or end up in a worse place. So if you can at least give them that direction to go, that ideal of, I want to learn more, like they said in Starship Troopers, would you like to know more?
Yeah.
Great. I can teach you as much as you like. Here's my tier list of what you want to learn, all by subject and by price and by time. None of it certified, but at least it gets you into the door of understanding, comprehending, and doing. And I'm sure that approach can be taught in IT as well. When you get the basics down, build from the basics. Because I'm pretty sure that guy running Red Hat isn't going to know what is going on Windows NT. I know very little about IT. Forgive me. I turn
You
wrenches
got it.
for
You
a
got
living.
it.
Yeah.
I turn wrenches for a living. So
It's funny. It's funny how you mention this stuff too, like the whole mindset stuff too. So I'm going to go back to a line that you said because I want to make sure everybody in the world understands this. No human ever that was fulfilled who said, let's say, rolled out of bed one day and they go, "Hey man, how'd you make $1 million?" I don't know. No person with purpose and money, or let's call it resources. I call it freedom tickets, because money is like Monopoly. Can you do what you want to do with it? Like I get to wear my PJs every day and not wear a fucking suit. So it's like freedom tickets. Can I do what I want to do? So doesn't mean I've got all the freedom tickets. I just have some freedom tickets. So, but my point back to that is no human ever was fulfilled without a fucking plan and without help. So you can't just roll out of bed and go, oh. So I love that analogy, like you said, with the ship, and you may wander off aimlessly and end up worse. You're more likely than not going to end up worse than where you fucking began. So, hey, how do you take it? And I'm a positive thinker. So I'm a positive realist. So I think realistically, I've seen evil. I know what it looks like. I swing things to a positive. But that's only like top 5% of people that have that ability to do that. And maybe I've worked on it a long time. I don't know. But other people are negative thinkers. And so when I say things, I go, well, I hope your money inspires you. But most of you out there are probably swinging it more to a negative and going, well, this pisses me off so much that I want to act. So that's the point to life that Steve is hitting right now. He's so pissed off with the job hunting, which I've been through too. And it does piss you off. I had a woman, I'm telling you this. So again, I was in my late 30s. I'm now 44. I was in my late 30s and I was former medevac pilot, former medical service corps officer, and been around all types of medicine throughout my life. My granddad was a doctor in World War II, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I grew up on a cattle ranch, so I've been all over the place with veterinarians and stuff like that. So I've been around medicine all my life. And so most people don't know this, but I was also a athletic trainer in college. I was in sports medicine. So I was like wrapping ankles for the football players and stuff like that. I just had a lot of knowledge. But there's no money in being an athletic trainer. And I learned that too. I was like, this is a lot of work. And look at that dude's truck. That thing sucks. So what else out there is good? It can more fulfilling. And so my point is you just have to have a plan, try something out until you either bounce off of it positively and go, you know what, that's not for me, or it fucking slams you down. So a woman slammed me down once because I say a woman, she was 24-year-old sales manager, finger quotes, sales manager. She did this number to me one day. Walked past me and did the eyeballs like this and went, "You in my office." I'm late 30s, combat veteran, and this bitch snapped at me and went, "You in my office." So I called my wife that day and I said, "Hey, I'm going to need your support because I am so fucking done with this. I'm a nice guy, but I'm fucking done with this shit." So I said, "I'm going to turn in my 2-week notice today, and I hope they just tell me to fucking pound sand, man." The last 2 weeks is the worst. Once you put in your notice, because you're a dead fucking stick, man. Here it is. I'm trying to get clinical hours. I've got more skills and more experience and on paper, in my life, and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I'm a dude that really wants to get shit done. And this is a growing company that I was working for at the time. And I said, "Man, I know I haven't been here for your whole 6-month period but I have more experience than your vice president over here." And I'm like, I see your vision. Can I work with you and do bigger things? And they're like, "No, you're not even going past go because you haven't worked for us for 6 months yet."
Yeah, that type of uphill battle.
I'm done, dude. I'm done.
Stupid.
I'm done. And the government's worse. I mean, because I was trying to work for the VA hospitals and stuff like that and get in there and do good things and be a guy who changes things from the inside. But I got people who are inside that are working in that change management stuff, and like forward thinkers. Dude, you talk about people who are banging their fucking heads against the wall. try to be a forward thinker in a fucking government agency. It ain't getting done, guys. So if you're out there going, well, I'm working for the government right now, well, take all the, there's a bell curve in life, folks. You're probably getting at the peak of that bell curve, and it's going to go slam down on you, and you're going to be like, this fucking sucks. So anyway.
Yeah, my sister works for the VA as an LGBT outreach coordinating director, and she's dealing with that same nonsense. It's like, it doesn't matter what you're trying to change. Culture change takes time, because that cognitive dissonance that people have, well, it's just the way it is. Status quo for me is a swear word. I will not say that comment in any context unless I'm explaining something, because you look at it in terms of economy. If you're status quo and you're just doing the bare minimum, eventually, due to entropy, you're going to go down, because nobody wants to innovate. Nobody wants to create something different. Nobody wants to create anything new. Well, it's just the way we've been doing it. Okay, Sisyphus, let's try something else.
Yeah. But is it working? That's what I go to all the time. Is it working? Is it working fast?
Sometimes they don't even want to know.
Other lines from other people, but things like my one of my main lines that's on subtitles of things will be things like fulfilling veterans fast. Nobody's talking about fast. Nobody's talking about fulfillment for veterans either. Nobody's doing it, but I am. And that's why I realize I'm special, and I'm wanting to get my arms around all you guys out there and gals out there and go, come on, man, let's do this. So, but Taraj, what's been your experience with
And yeah, thank you.
I don't want to pigeonhole that.
Yeah, I want to give that little background about where I'm from. I was born and raised in Afghanistan. Probably I might see Albert flying that Apache down in Afghanistan, and then probably West Kings and folks. I was born and raised about like 2 hours away from Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan. So I came into the United States with my dad. He worked for United States government, on an immigration visa. So I'm thankful forever for United States to allow me the opportunity. This one slide is not many. There's a lot of people in the world that are looking to get into the United States, but it doesn't come up to everybody. So from that aspect, I want to talk. At the end of the day, either you're a veteran or not, it doesn't really matter. What comes down is your work ethic, your discipline, and your motivation. If you don't have any of these, if you don't check box any of them, you're not going to be successful in life. Even you're born in a family of millionaire, or you're born in a family that barely survives, on a daily basis. So I think all and that, comes up, are you here for, short game or long game? If you're here a long game, you'll be successful.
I love one word: useful. Are you useful?
Absolutely.
Well, I'll just say, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. So, like me coming to the United States, it was just a whole different change. I'm coming from, a war-torn country that went into, different, you had the Civil War, and then you had, the invasion of the United States, into, kind of like, kicking out the Taliban out of the country. So it was just so much going on in the background. And then coming here and you start from zero. Let's say you're moving from Germany to the United States, you're not starting back from zero. You might start from like level 5, level 6 from that analogy. So, I had to come here, and then we had to all start from the zero. And then there was so much, culture difference, language barrier, job opportunity, friends, family. There's so much, that we had to adjust and adapt and then get back in. So end of the day, it's like when you start from zero, it's hard to build up versus you come into 5 or 6, and then you're able to shift that. So, and that applies to anything in life. If it's job, if it's looking into getting into business, going into job hunting or anything, it just you gotta be persistent. You gotta beat the system. The system's not going to wait for you to come in and then take you in. Hey, come on, Joe. We love you. You're gonna do great. You're gonna do this. Because same thing in government sales cycles. It's one of the worst sales. I'm in that business, B2B into B2G. You know, for let's say if you want to go to a commercial client, hey, let's come in and then advise you, consult you on your current state of cybersecurity. It might be a week turnaround, and then you get that proposal in, and then you're on the way, and then you start the service. Versus government, you gotta wait for the RFP, and then there are people in there forecasting that RFP like a year ago, because then now they have all this. So government is it's absolutely miserable in terms of that sales cycle, because and the work environment is different. Government is just another beast. There's so much federal acquisition. It just it's not meant for you to success. It's more to beat you down. It's just
Yeah.
ups and downs, constant. There's no
Maybe
flat
something.
line. There's no
Yeah.
straight. It's like you're traveling through Arizona and then New Mexico. There's a straight line goes in and there's no gas station. It's not like that. It's like Colorado. You just hit it that
Mhm.
ramp again and again and again until either your engine breaks down or you run out of the gas, and you just gotta call it in and then get that tow truck comes in and then rescue. So and I find it interesting here, because uh, so like some of the jobs that I'm right now looking for, individuals come in is that within the cybersecurity and IT field and government, specifically, is that they're looking for top secret clearance. So like I have three right now. They're like, yeah, the contract states that they have to have a top secret minimum. I'm like, okay, you're not allowing us to sponsor one, and it's so hard to find individuals because I get resumes every day. I get resumes. This guys are from the back. I mean, what the resume says, they're outstanding individuals, well in the IT and cybersecurity field. But the government says, hey, I need the individual when they're when they get go through that recruiting cycle and then sending us for the interview, they have to have minimum TS. Otherwise, we're not going forward for interview. So I'm like, come on. I mean, are you serious? You got all this, FTEs or full-time FTE in the government, full-time employment. Basically, a contractor comes in if they're called FTEs. You have all those FTEs, and you're not allowing us. So it's so hard because even though in Northern Virginia, I live in Northern Virginia, is the hub for government. You got all the DoD, you have the White House, all the big cabinet, agencies, all everything is based out of here, and then most jobs here is working for government, either contracting or through government, employment. So it's so hard to find a job here. You might think, oh, I'm here. Oh, let's say if you're in Portland, just like Stephen, yeah, I'm not, maybe you're more into commercial because that's the big, clients out there. There's not much, government. Maybe if you're in the capital, there's, state and local, but
I'm
yeah.
sorry, but during the COVID lockdown, the people of Oregon referred to the governor as Führer.
Oh, God.
Oh,
She was not a kind governor.
Mm.
oh, really? Yeah.
Sorry,
I
that's what
mean,
makes it funny. Oregon is not a individualist state. It is completely government, state controlled.
Mm.
oh,
So
wow.
there's not a lot of room for growth there. That's why I moved to Idaho, where we
Oh,
are
you
the
did
least
you?
regulated state in the union. It's a libertarian's dream.
Oh, nice.
Well,
Sorry,
Hey, do
please,
you
please
mind?
continue.
I never been to Portland, but I do hear, a lot, and I've seen,
Um,
the 2021 and all that
Yeah.
shenanigans. So I'm
How old
happy
are
I'm
you
not
guys?
there.
How old are you
just
guys?
imagine Amsterdam
Oh, God.
with a really passive aggressive attitude.
Oh, Amsterdam, Netherlands.
Yes. Sorry to my Netherlands and
I mean,
Dutch friends.
it's a good analogy. I mean, I'm not going to.
There's drugs everywhere and
Absolutely. That's one of those few.
bicycles all over the place, and you're wondering how do people drive in this place? No, it's a walkable city. I
I did
wouldn't
see
walk around.
the only thing I did see a lot in news was the I think it was the federal court in Portland that was put on fire. I think that was the main headline on news every day was that.
Yeah, the federal courthouse was on
And then
fire.
you had
The
the
customs house was on
marshal.
fire.
Yeah, I mean, it was the poor marshal guys coming in trying to defend that, the building that is already halfway burned. And I think there was no firefighter either to come in to, rescue that building. They're like, yeah, just set it on fire. I think we'll get some funding and then rebuild that goddamn court.
I'm sorry, I pulled you on a tangent. Please continue, Taraj.
Yeah, I love those guys that put remember when they put seeds in the dirt, but they put the dirt on top of cardboard or plastic or something stupid like that, and you're just like, that's not gonna work. Oh, God. You're fucked up like a soup sandwich. Let me know how that one goes.
Chicken wham
Yeah.
canoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that there's always be difficulties, there will all be challenges posed to individuals in some form of shape throughout their lives. So just you just have to know how to overcome that challenge and That was a challenge. I know a lot of, so I'm in the field of cybersecurity, IT, and there I have so many friends and colleagues, and that I met during my time in Northern Virginia, that I know them. They're in cybersecurity. They work in the commercial, and they want to come into the government contracting. One of the reasons they wanted to come in was that stability. I don't know if you guys know, in the big on the private sector, layoff is a big thing. They get laid off like that, snap. They, my sister, 2 months ago, she worked on a private project. I mean, client, a big company. They laid off their whole department, 20 some people, just like that overnight. Next day come in, they're like, just turn in your computer and then you're good to go. I'm like that.
It's funny that you said that, Taraj. Years ago, I worked for a company called Zillow, which is like Redfin.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
I was a
So
renovation superintendent, so I would go to like these different houses in Portland and deal with renovating them so they're clean, safe,
absolutely.
and functional. November, all hands meeting. Hey, so we're going to lay off the entire acquisitions and field department
Oh
over
shit.
Zoom
Oh, wow.
at once. And what's worse is they let in with a butchered Dr. Seuss quote. I'm like, I can't read Seuss now because you just ruined it. And I can't use Zoom now because now I'm remembering back to when you laid off 3,000 people at once because your IT department, no offense, Taraj, did not listen to the market. It literally was. Their AI model was not receiving the input from the field. We were dealing with houses that were 100 years old. And if you've ever remodeled a house that's older than 50 years, you're dealing with asbestos, you're dealing with bad HVAC, you're dealing with insulation repair, roof
Absolutely.
repair at minimum. So
Absolutely.
your house that you initially invested $150,000 into, for example, you're going to be upside down because you just broke half of that expenditure just replacing the systems inside the house. So they literally were not listening to the field backfeed. Like, look, guys, don't buy this house. It's from 1903 and it's full of mess. But no, they didn't. And so instead of learning from that experience, they went ahead and laid everybody off. And it's like, okay, guess what I'm going to do? I based my master's thesis off of this.
Oh really?
How to retain lessons learned subject matter expertise during a corporate downsizing event.
Oh wow.
Because originally I was going to do it on building subject matter expertise in a growing free financial market. Because I was working with the learning and development department because we didn't have, because this was during COVID. So they didn't have the ability to send people to their training house in Vegas. So there was no field training. So I'm like, okay, let's develop it. So I'm working with L&D on it. And then they laid off everyone. So layoffs suck.
Uh, man, don't tell me, because I know my sister she got laid off and she was pissed off, and because you're putting all that work and you're putting all that for a company, and like some people, I don't know, I can't speak for all. Some people treat their company or their employer, as kind of like a family, because you come in and then you're meeting your colleagues, you know, just like military, and we're all one family. So I think she put a lot of time. She worked there for I think almost 2 years, and then she was really happy, and then all of a sudden she find out that off they go. You're gone, and it's hard to find. I mean, we're talking about Northern Virginia, DMV, that's the hub for government contracting, and a lot of big companies that they're based out of here, and it's hard to find jobs. It's I'm not gonna we're not gonna lie, but it's hard to find job nowadays. And then there are, I mean, the federal government every day they puts out the new metrics. Oh, we're like 2-3% unemployment. Okay, if you're 2-3% employment, and I have like thousands of people that I know that they're unemployed. I don't know where you get the numbers. Is that from AI, ChatGPT, or Copilot, or Brad? I'm not sure that number, because you're definitely not in the field and doing surveys. Maybe you're giving that surveys to Chinese or Indians. Maybe they're filling out that number. They're like, oh, we're 2 or 3% unemployment
No, we
rate. I don't know.
don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure the numbers, because I can definitely we're probably like at 10, 11. I'm not sure what the exact, but we're definitely way above 2-3%. and government is all about bullshitting. It's, nothing about government.
Yeah.
It's all bullshitting, brother. It's like one of my colleagues put it out one time. We had a presentation. It's like, hey, it's like you go to a nice hotel. I mean, a nice hotel, and then you go to a street. It's like, hey, you have any recommendation for like nice restaurants and everything? Then the guy like, all right, here's list of nice restaurants within a town, and you can go ahead, and then you decide to go to 7-Eleven and pick up a sandwich. So it's like you come in with all these beautiful ideas and everything, and then you get slapped on the face by the government, accusation, and then the leadership or the executive, they call it executive service, yes, and then you go back to 7-Eleven or down a gas station and grab a snack, and that's it. That's how the government works. I mean, you
It's
guys
not
men, so you
wrong.
guys might have just in even the military,
Yeah.
same shenanigan.
Yeah, but the thing is about the military is that we had a singular focus, a singular mission. So with somebody with ADHD superpowers, like apparently I do, as I discovered after I got out, is that hyper focus on that mission is what's missing in civilian markets, because everyone's all over the place. They're pulling in different directions. Whereas in the military, you are part of a group that's pushing in one direction only. So
Well,
that
absolutely no.
focus
From
is
the
not present in the government. I'll tell you that much.
No, absolutely. From a mission standpoint, yeah, there's one mission, and then everybody's striving to achieve that one mission that accomplish that. But let's not forget, DoD is comprised of, you have the cabinet member, or the DoD, yeah, as a federal, as a civilian individual, basically, and same thing goes to every branch: Army, Marine, Air Force. They all have a force or general, but in the day is who's running the Army is the secretary of the Army. It's not the chief of
Mhm.
staff of the Army. It's the chief of staff is just an advisor to a civilian individual that runs that, the Army, or the Navy, and they make all the decisions. End of the day, either it's about procurement, acquisition, mission set, uh, uh, HR, personnel, whatever, whatever's going on, domestic or international. So it's it all comes down on different. But as for the military speaking, yeah, there's always 100% one mission, and it's all about mission success.
Yeah, getting that purple suitors to work together. That was all that we did.
Taraj, how old are you?
25 going to 26, something like, I think, yeah.
And Steve, how old are you?
I just turned 39 yesterday.
Oh
That's
wow,
right. That's fine.
congratulations.
I know everyone says you don't look 30. Yeah, because I don't go out in the sun.
Yeah.
That
It's
and
funny how many people.
I'm half Greek. What do you want?
Yeah,
Or
there you
maybe
go.
lacking taking that vitamin D. I'm like, oh, I don't take it.
Oh, I take vitamin D. Yeah,
Oh, you take.
yeah, I'm one of those guys that like the VA doctor's like, here's all your results. You need to take vitamin D. Okay. What else? Oh, you're healthy. Are you sure?
No, I'm not.
Is your machine working?
Well, I've had good experiences with VA doctors, and I've had bad experiences.
Oh yeah.
In Portland, the other veterans refer to the VA hospital as Dachau or Auschwitz.
Yeah.
Whereas here in Idaho, it's a completely different animal. They will literally call you to make sure, hey, are you coming to your appointment? We're worried about you. Do you like this medication? Can we change it? Ever since they changed the rules on VA oversight, it has been like night and day. Because I fought for getting the treatments that I needed, the physical therapies that I needed. Now I'm an 80% disabled veteran from all the combined injuries and issues that I have, which is why I can't sit down for long periods of time, because fractured every lumbar in my spine.
Feel free to
Yeah.
stand up anytime. I'm a wiggler because of these reasons too. So.
Yeah, but at the same rate, if you give people the tools to improve, they will do it. If you give them a unified direction, they will do it. If you give them a goal, they'll do it. But if you just let them, all right, let's just buy whatever we want. Do you remember that Senate hearing where the Secretary of the Air Force was asked how much that bag of bushings cost?
Oh man, yeah.
$90,000.
Nuts.
I could buy that from Ace True Value for a thousandth of that. But if you give them a unified goal of following waste, fraud, and abuse corrections, following the Lean Six Sigma approach of reducing waste, reducing extra expenditures, and streamlining, you get a lot more because that gives you a goal. I mean, I'm sure that your family, Taraj, when it's like, hey, I want to get out of this country. I love my people. I love my country, but it's not safe here. You had a goal to get out. And I, for one, I'm glad you're here. Although when I saw how we left, I was getting flashbacks to high school when they talked about the fall of Saigon.
Yeah.
A lot of my battle buddies did not like that ending.
Yeah. That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's the worst exit ever. I've been through a lot of training on how to do things the right way, and you go, okay, if there's a billion ways to do it a right way, and there's one wrong way, that was the wrong way.
Yeah, let's just count the
Like the
hundreds of
worst
people
ever.
who died, and the fact that it's literally 1991 all over again.
There's a famous quote that says, "We replaced Taliban with the Taliban." So,
well, to be fair, I blame Carter. You ever read the books about Charlie Wilson's war when he was trying to help the Mujahideen overthrow the Soviets in the 70s? There's literally just a few things left for them to do to help that country to stand up on its own, and Carter nixed it. What was the first thing that filled that vacuum? Some schmuck from Saudi Arabia.
He's not known for making good decisions.
Yeah, well, he's a peanut farmer, so I'm just going to give him crap until the day I die.
Yeah.
he's from Georgia. You gotta. God. Yeah, I think he's the only Georgian president.
It's just the fact that you can give people a goal, and if you support that drive, they will get there. If you support your veterans in a positive way instead of just wasting their time with these endless GI Bill traps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at like Art Institute. They went under because they were ripping off their veterans. These for-profit schools are getting nailed to the wall, rightfully so, because they were taking the entire GI Bill, and then the veterans still had to pay into it. What were they getting for their money? What was their rate of return on the return on investment? 0. Because those college degrees ended up being for nothing because they ended up having to go and get that PMP or that Lean Six Sigma black belt, which would be really swoopy for me to have, but that's another story. So I want to see other veterans succeed because I've been through the hell of, okay, well, you're going to work at this job and then you get bored of it or you hate it and you're just like, I can't stand these civilians. I want to throat punch them half the time or do a wall-to-wall counseling on another guy.
Mm-hmm.
And with somebody who struggles with regulating their emotions like myself, yay, it's difficult because you're trying to help. You're like, I can help. I can do this. I can push you in the right direction. But it's like pushing water uphill with your hands. And I'm so burned out from it. It's like, I can't do it anymore. So I'm like, you know what?
I'm glad you're going into what you're going into. That's just such
I'll do it myself. I'm just going to be like Thanos and say, fine, I'll do it myself.
Let me say something I said just today. So you mentioned 80%. So I'm 100% permanent in total. And I know money that you don't know about. So you and I need to talk. But all of us need to talk. So make sure you guys are responsive. But my point is, I said this today. People, when there are other entities out there who say, oh, I'm a VSO Legion or, for Freezies or I'm another entity out there that is a competitor of Albert's, whatever the fuck you want to say. I don't care. However, I'm a guy who has already walked across that bridge myself. It's a one-road bridge. It's being compliant with the government. The check that's always over my left shoulder over here is a big check that you guys have earned out there. It's through compliant paperwork. And I know what it is and know how to get you there. And I'm a guy who already walked across that bridge. Now, I'm not retired, so I don't qualify for the money that Steve does, but I qualify for $5,000 a month. I receive it, and Steve qualifies for $7,500, almost $7,500 a month.
No, right now for me it's like $2,550.
I know that.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah, I know.
No, I get it. Just like when people say, "Oh, can you want a veterans discount?" Like, dude, it's not a coupon. It helps me with my mortgage, great, but it's not what I wanted. What I wanted was to hit that 20-year and see my children grow up and not have to worry about whether or not I'm going to come home in a box or not, which I was totally fine with. To be honest with you, I mean, when they talked about Battle Mind, it was like, okay, got it. I may end up bleeding out in some random country. Cool. As long as my kids are taken care of. End
That's
of
the
the day,
crazy thing.
that's all that matters.
Imagine how many widows call me and go, "Hey, Dad didn't do things the right way," or I have to tell them, "Hey, your dad didn't do things
It
right."
really hurt because
Mhm.
out of all the deploying soldiers that came back from theater from my unit, never had a casualty, no Purple Hearts at all. And then we had one captain come back, and he chose to punch his own ticket when he came home. I never met the guy, but he did it right after I joined the unit, and I saw how much it affected his fellow soldiers. It screwed them up royal.
Mhm.
There was safety stand downs, and safety and stands guy was just, he knew the guy personally. And this was a fixed wing Army unit. Yes, the Army still has planes.
Yeah.
And you're a rotary wing guy, so you know that, well, they don't call it Rucker, but anyway,
Yeah, it's Rucker.
guys
It's
from
Rucker.
Mother Rucker,
Yeah.
all of them know each other.
Mhm.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
And I have never seen a more tight-knit community outside of when I tried out for SFQ. I didn't make it, not for lack of trying. And God knows I tried. But at the same rate, that cohesion of that centralized mission, veterans need that. Do you remember back when Wounded Warrior started up? There was a woman whose husband came back from the first initial engagements, and Wounded Warrior only gave her a blanket.
Hmm.
Nothing else. A blanket. Here's how we can help you. And her husband's in the hospital at Walter Reed trying to recover from whatever injury it was. I don't remember. It was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But at the same rate, they have progressed immensely because they had a unified mission. They want to help the veterans because the veterans coming back were telling them, look, dude, I can't make my mortgage payment. I can't keep my house. I had a soldier myself. She was homeless.
Mm-hmm.
She was a reservist assigned to us, but she was homeless.
Hmm.
And I said, forget that. I went to my light colonel. It's like, can we get her a hotel room or something to stay in while she... Yeah, that was a whole nightmare, but we got her taken care of. Soldiers living off of food stamps, man.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily they got that 19% raise coming in the BDAA, which is pretty swoopy, I think. Anyway, I ran off on a tangent. Sorry, I talk too much. I get really fired up when veterans get screwed over constantly.
And that's why I say it this way too. We have to only veterans know veterans, and only veterans are going to take care of veterans, because that's what I'm saying. I've already walked that bridge. I know what it's like to be started on this side and move from this side to that side. And that way I can say, hey, for my own knowledge, for my own bank account, I can go, all right, I get paid $5,000 a month by Uncle Sam. Where's that coming from? And how do I know that Steve is worth almost $7,500 a month? Where's that coming from? And I go, okay, here's where it is, this paperwork, this thing, here's where you got to start. And the government wants you all confused, and they're going to say no to you. But the government says no to you, they have to give you a letter of saying why they said no and how to say yes the right way. But here's what's crazy. It's not infuriating. It's impossible. It's impossible to do the claim process, the money process by yourself. It's impossible. I've had VSOs come to me that are currently VSOs. They're at dog shit ratings, like 30%, and they come to me and they become my client. AMVETS people, very high people in AMVETS come to me, and I take care of them, because it's just about getting paperwork done the right way and guiding every person individually of like, okay, where are you in space and time? Just like a medevac mission. Where are you? Let me come get you and do straight line to the money that you've earned the right way. So it's gross. It's gross. So if you people out there who go, I'm done anything, or I'm good at 60 or 70 or whatever, 90. I was saying the same thing. Oh, I'm good at 90 for 5 years, and I look back on shit. That's for you guys that don't know this, because knowledge is power. But like they say, what's that line? That the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off.
Mm-hmm.
When you go from 90 to 100, like I did, pay chart says it's a 15 basic family of 4. It's a $1,500 a month raise. Just that last 10%. It's going to get worse, guys. And that's where the big bucks really start kicking in. Property tax removal, college money for your kids in college, all this kind of stuff, student loan removal. So we're educated guys talking about multiple degrees here. You know, all your student loans get wiped off your record when you're 100% permanent total like me.
I
I'm
did
sorry,
not
what was
know
that last one?
It's
Yeah,
student loan.
all of your student loans, when you're 100% permanent total like I am, all of your student loans get wiped off your record.
Yeah, I think that varies in state
Okay.
to state. No, or is that
It
just
does.
Nope.
no?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Wasn't that part of the Save Act?
I'm not sure what it's all a part of. It's from the 90s. So Trump was
Oh.
the one who signed it in to be automatic. So it happened to me. So I had 180,000 wiped off my record.
Oh wow,
That's a
good for
lot,
you.
man.
Good for you.
So all you people out there who have student loans, talk to me because it's
Absolutely.
I'm sitting on about 68,000 right now.
it's what you were guaranteed. It's what you when think about it this way. When you signed up years ago, decades ago, whatever it was, you signed a contract with Uncle Sam. He said, "Hey, I'm going to drive you like a fucking rental car, and all you got to do in order to get paid is bring a note from your whatever, bring paperwork." That's all it is, guys. That's all it is. So that big ass check that's over here, I wish it were real, and I wish that when people got out of the service, that the government did the right thing and said, "Hey, here's your big fucking check. Go prosper." But they don't. They hide it and they chop it up into pieces and put it in different places. It's very wine. It's a I call it a rotisserie of fuckery because it's alive. It's alive. It's not like, hey, we buried it and it's somewhere. It's still they move it. It's weird, and that's the government for you.
Do you remember what Abraham Lincoln said about the VA when he created it? To care for the soldier, his widow, and for their children. I just wish they'd live up to it.
Until they didn't, right? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, the wait list? Yeah, that
what
was fun.
what do you call that with the Dan Bongino talks about the Moneyball rule all the time of, hey, if he hits good, why doesn't he hit good? Same thing with anything. That's why when anybody pushes back on anything, I say, hey, I'm here to help you out at the speed of right. I will show you where your money is. I will tell you what you qualify for. I'll show you where your money is, how we're going to fucking get there, and how long it's going to take. And it works like a fucking champ. That's it. You gotta get started. I'm not here to unfuck any systems. I'm just little old me, but the government's hiding your money, and I will show you where it is, and I'll show you how to get it.
You're talking to a guy who believes taxation is theft.
It is. I mean, okay.
Until I can see the CIA's black budget, please don't come to my house. It's theft.
Yeah, well, don't worry. Yeah, well,
my FBI agent's watching this, and he's like, "Shut up, Steven."
Yeah.
Until I can see where it's going, any business that runs its model on not knowing where all of its investment is going is doomed to fail. Any business. It's been said time and again, if government was run like a business, it would run smoothly. Because look at how many presidents we've had. What are their predominant professions before becoming president? Lawyers. And then you got somebody, I didn't vote for him, and just because he's not my party. When Trump came into office, he's a businessman. We had an economic upturn that was unseen for decades. $1.50 a gas. Great. Mean tweets, I can live with that. Mm-hmm. And now we've got shortages everywhere. We've got watch list people jumping the border on all 4 sides of it. And I'm not talking about the southern border. They're coming through the north and through the ports too. A friend of mine works for Border Patrol, and they found them in containers.
A lot of my clients, man. Yeah.
I'm not talking about Taliban or ISIL or those jackwagons. Although I do love the fact that we carpet bombed that island into oblivion. But it's people. It's literally military-age males and females from China, mainland. It's North Koreans. It's Russians. They're coming from everywhere. And I'm looking at it like you literally had one of the best prosperous events in American history since Reagan, because he didn't have a massive war to deal with like Bush did. So I give him a kind of okay. Clinton was okay, mainly because of he reduced the deficit only through BRAC, but that's a whole different story. You look at what Trump did, and then you look at how much it costs to fill your car now. What used to cost me $20 to fill my tank is now $60. So even if I do get $5,000, $6,000 a month, that inflation is just going to reduce it to the buying effect of $300 and a bag of smokes. So if I can get somebody on the path of self-improvement, like Dave Ramsey talks about, that's my favorite financial guy is Dave Ramsey. Mainly because it's hilarious that he says you can live without a credit card. No, you can't. No, you can't.
That's so weird. We got to talk about the future too, guys. Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but and that's what I was wondering about too. That I'm glad that Taraj brought this up too. I'm glad I'm 44, but I was born in 1980, and I know what a rotary phone is and that kind of thing, old school phones, and I know what a fax machine is, and then nowadays they call it a fax machine.
you know they had a fax machine for the Humvee radio set?
Didn't surprise me.
It was like 90 pounds, and it fit into your rack right beneath your PRC. You could literally send a fax through the radio.
That's so creepy.
I've only seen it once. I thought it was the stupidest idea I've ever seen.
Yeah, somebody thought of it and somebody bought it, right? So,
I have a ham radio license, so I know how.
That's what I was going to say. Is okay, technology. So where are we going with technology? That things are going so quickly, and that's what's honestly. Here's as in the service, you go from shitting, showering, shaving, right next to your buddy and buddies for years or even decades, and you have this white noise of always being around people that are similar. Then you get out, and the noise, the silence is deafening. So you go from knowing that, hey, we're supposed to shoot, move, communicate, to then you get out and you don't communicate. Oh, well, I'm not real good on social media. I don't really play with social media and that kind of stuff. Well, what's number one thing you need to be able to do is communicate. So from you guys' own experiences or thoughts on not only what did happen, but where are we going with, since Taraj mentioned like AI and stuff like that, that the world is faster and getting faster. How do we, I don't want to put thoughts in your head, but where do we go from here as Americans? Or as the American dream?
What Taraj has to say on this.
I mean, from a business perspective, I think is a great idea. I mean, bringing in AI into the business. From a business standpoint, you're streamlining your process. You're bringing down a cost on some of your some of the costs. It could be personnel. It could be software. It could be equipment. You can bring the hours down. Labor. It's from everything. In the United States, we're all loving business. We're all business lover. We all love entrepreneurship, and that's what the greatest about America is. That's the fact that we're the only country in the whole world that we appreciate people that they're in a business, because business creates jobs, not the government. If you think that government creates jobs, then I think we have to have a different conversation and have a side, because that's that whole. I think you gotta maybe China or Russia. I think maybe that's where you come from. But that from that aspect, I think it is good. Certainly, everything has a bad, negative, and positive. AI has a negative, and there's all different theories, and there's all this outcomes that it could be projected in the future. But we need to work on policies and laws that that's something Congress has to do on their side. From the business lens, like just me, I have a business. I see there's things that kind of like enable me to do the business where well, ChatGPT, there's different platforms, there's AI, there's things that I can do that can streamline the process for me, that I don't have to go out and outsource things. So from that aspect, it's good. And then there's always but just like AI is good, is also evil. from cybersecurity and that speaking, before you don't have to be a really good, you have to be a really good hacker to hack in. So now we have AI almost free to anybody to use it. You can be in North Korea, or you could be in Asia, you could be in Europe. You have access because there's open sources on the internet. It will be there for forever. You can now streamline the process of attacking, knowing a little bit about hacking, knowing a little bit of attacking from a cybersecurity perspective, knowing how to uh, now that you have ChatGPT, you have all this. It really streamlined it. You just type in ChatGPT, hey, give me a code on how to get in from a backdoor into an application. It literally,
Yeah, creepy.
whatever specify you put in your input, it gives you that outcome. Before you had to know a few program language like C++, JavaScript, and all this good stuff. It will take you years to learn and master your craft before you go in and then do it. And then good thing if you do it in the United States, FBI will come out and then knock that door, and next
Isn't
thing
that
you know,
creepy? Like you can look in your fridge, right? Take a picture with your fridge and go, hey,
absolutely.
what recipe can I make for that's in my fridge? But then you can do the same thing in your garage and go, hey, chat, tell me how to make a bomb out of the shit that's in my garage right now.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
it's so creepy.
it is,
Right,
and that's
Steve?
the thing about it.
I know nothing. I see
Yeah, I
nothing.
feel not saying
And that's the thing is we as an American, we love to be have a prosperous life, have more enjoyments, joy, do a lot of fun stuff, and that means to minimize the labor. I don't personally don't like to do this. Okay, AI comes in do this for me, then I'm super happy about it. But you gotta understand that just to have you have the same tools, your adversary have the same tools as you do because it's internet. I can go on Google, tap down ChatGPT. Somebody could in whatever country, we're not gonna go ahead name countries, but let's say XYZ can go and do the same thing. So that means that now we're streamlining, and in the internet it is forever. So we're just minimize where ChatGPT just
that
brings in,
feeding is
and
giant.
yeah, it's so. I mean, if you vision it, it can be very horrifying for some people that they don't know how to protect themselves. And there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of information that you can protect yourself uh, just from a personal, how to protect your PPI, HEPA, how to secure your home internet networks and everything. I mean, that's crucial. If we're living in a 21st century, that having a secure internet is crucial for any person that lives in the United States because we have a freedom and the First Amendment and everything. So, and if you're not able to do so, then that creates a loophole that people come in and then you steal your credit card, your social security, all your information, your photos, your pictures, anything that is sensitive to you, that's now exposed on a open source internet. So you want to be ahead of the bell curve, and to do so, you have to utilize all the knowledge that's available. And there's a lot of information for you to do so that protects you against all the internal and external threats.
I hear what you're saying, and something comes to mind. Um, there was a comment that somebody told me once is that my car is the best anti-theft device because it's a manual transmission.
There you
Younger
go.
generation can't drive a manual. Try driving a tractor. That's fun, an old school one. But it brings up a thought. When you simplify a process and remove that mundane, basic level information, how many people in the world can make true Damascus steel? Not that folded stuff that people try to pass off. I mean, how
Not so
many
many.
different people know how to do the aqueducts or the Roman concrete that has lasted 2,000 years? Lost processes that were taught over time and developed over time. Because there's a theory that eventually we get to the point where we are so advanced, we don't remember how to screw in a light bulb.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of, is that we will rely so much on technology, and then somebody's going to come along, lights out. What do
Yeah.
we do? Nobody will know how to plant crops. Nobody will know how to drive a car. Nobody will know how to turn a screw.
Absolutely.
So I
You
think it
bring
needs to
it.
be balanced. I mean,
Absolutely.
the whole Skynet argument is out there because we've had bot farms and zombie computer bot farms breaking in for doing DDoS for years.
Absolutely does. Yeah.
AI would help it, yes, But at the same time, I'm looking at Google's Gemini. It refused to show historically accurate pictures of George freaking Washington.
Oh wow. So
But then when you ask me about Booker T. Washington, it's
Mhm.
right up.
Yeah.
So it's really, really upsetting to me is that all these people programming it can put so much influence on it. Yeah, you can put AI into Dan mode, but then it's not really learning. It's just repeating and parroting back what was said to it. That's just my observation on AI.
Yeah, and that's what I like about somebody said this the other day with AI is actually a bad term because it's not artificial and it's not intelligence. It just is fast. That's it. You can ask it something and it'll give you a fast answer. It may show you a recipe for chili or some shit, but it's not going to come out there and make you a bowl of chili, you know. So
yeah, it's not like quantum computing, which would be the next level towards singularity.
That's another big
creating
thing.
Yeah, Google's looking for that one too. So I'm all for pure human endeavoring and to create big things. I mean, the last 50 years, we've been to the moon, and we will do again. Artemis 2, yay. 100 years ago, we were still killing each other in Africa over what? The Zulus
Gold.
versus the British Empire and Rorke's Drift?
Something pretty. That's usually it, right? It's either something shiny, pretty, a girl, whatever.
Yeah.
Or fighting over religion, which I think
basics.
is redundant, considering that most religions talk about peace.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, especially in I'm familiar with that. Islam is a peaceful religion. Christianity was supposed to be a peaceful religion, but then I'm thinking back, okay, let's talk about the Crusades, children. Let's talk about Salem witch trials, children.
Yeah,
we can point fun and point out things about problems through any culture.
It does not solve anything.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to human nature is the same no matter where you go. It's just names and places change.
Yeah, and
People
I
need to be
bring that up.
Validated.
There's ecosystems. Humans are naturally lazy, so like even if you have a good idea, there are people with billion-dollar ideas that just do absolutely nothing. They roll out of bed and go,
"Wow, I feel called out."
Your idea is yours is probably not $1 billion, but it's
not. It's there, but not. Well, there's an interesting point Stephen brought in. I did I read a study I think 2 months ago where they did a study in MIT, and then they did the same study in India. Their India version is called ITI, India Technology Institute. So basically, that's the version of MIT. So they took a few students of computer science, and then they give them a light bulb and field electronics. They say, hey, what can you create from just giving this? The guys in India, you'd be surprised. They made few different products like that, and then they did some study in MIT. Guess how many that they couldn't even turn on the bulb light. They had no foundation of electrics and foundation of basic tools and how to put different small component, a battery, and few switches. They weren't able to do that, and you can see that for yourself. Just we're getting lazier and lazier, and then I don't recommend people to put their life on technology and AI, but at the minimal, it's worth it to do so. It kind of enables you on certain things that you want to get ahead of yourself. But would I rather drive a stick shift or a computer or a chip car? No, I definitely have to go with manual because big thing in America is freedom. I want to have my freedom till I die. That's that mentality I think everybody should have, because the moment you're allowed to drive on the 2024 that is controlled by communicate. I mean, every car 2024 or 25 year they're communicate with satellites. You have no idea. They can communicate with satellites. Even the car is turned off, they can still communicate.
Yeah.
They know where your location of the car is. They know what the status. They have cameras that they can utilize RDP or get into the server, and then they can capture. Let's say your car is inside your garage. There's sensors, 360, and everything that they can just go ahead in if you really know. And then now you're exposed.
Big Brother is legit. They're everywhere. They see.
Do you watch the Sean Ryan podcast?
I actually met him, Sean Ryan, in DC on we had I met him, but I do watch most of it. Sometimes they're 2 hours.
I like his clip. I watch his clips.
Some of the clips, but
there's one in particular when he had one of that seal that detransitioned. That was
which
talking
one?
about
DJ.
The guy, Chief, the guy with the purple plaid shirt on.
Hmm.
I forget his name. For those who know his name, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
I don't have the best memory. But one thing that stood out that you reminded me of, he said, we used to be trained to take the phone battery out and to
Absolutely.
separate it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You don't have to
Disassemble.
anymore.
That's
We can
the
still listen to you
foundation.
I know
because
who you're
they
talking
are
about.
able to.
Mhm.
It goes back to the technology. Remember back in the it was during the Cold War, and when the U.S. left the embassy where it was at, they discovered that there was a non-electric bug
That
in
was
an
in
Eagle placard
yeah, that
using
was in
sonic
So,
technology. No moving parts, no batteries, nothing. And the
mm,
Russians were able to listen to it
that
across the street.
crazy. So
So that tells me that that technology, that understanding has been there for decades.
100 years ago. That was the
yeah,
1950s
all
that
kinds of
were
Trojan
listening
horses.
onto embassy cable, the diplomatic cable that they were listening to that communicate back to DC. So yeah, and
Yeah,
that
so
technology was there 100 years ago. So
I mean that is the basic level stuff that we're now using in astronomical proportions. So if you understand the basics and then build from that, which is where I'm coming from,
Mhm.
I want to build the basics. You want to build the advanced. Now going back into education, when I was learning how to be an educator, they taught that a lot of the old educators, the ones that use the same old books, they're not using the latest technology. To engage with your learners, you need to use the latest technology because they're the ones who are going to be using their iPads or their Androids to create these massive works of art. I don't count AI art; they can't even get the hands
it's
right.
not. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
it
right.
will never be a Rembrandt,
Mhm.
but that's another story.
There's
But
a go ahead. Sorry. There's a book that was published by OSS. If you guys know that led on it transitioned to
Mhm.
CIA.
Mhm.
Let's talk
mhm,
about sabotage and how to be ahead of the sabotage, and basically for people that going in to be I mean, intelligence field. That basically, if you're a field, agent that works in different country and how to do sabotage and how to be safe in doing so. And if you go that look that book, the the manual is a manual. It was a former OSS manual, and some of the stuff was published on that book is so advanced. That's what they were using, and that's how OSS was so successful on threat. That later on became CIA was that they were well ahead of the technology curve. What I mean technology, some of their TTPs, their technique and
Mhm.
procedures were so advanced. And some of the technology usage, there was like a few products that they were using on it. And then if you have ever time to go look that book, it's good. It's not just good for if you want to be Intel, but if just in general, that really pushes set. But I'm just talking back to technology and how
Yeah. Well,
in
even like a
1945.
mentor of mine, he was in the restaurant industry and he did well for 28 years. Everybody knew him. And he said, just be different and better. So you got to be different and better. So anybody can make a hamburger. If you want a hamburger, go across any street in a street corner and you can find a bunch of hamburgers. But he said, if you're just be different and better. That's all you got to do.
So mastering craft.
Yeah. Just, and I think that's what we can end on is that we all agree that there's just start. Yeah. Like you said, be the master of your craft, be humble, be thankful, be helpful, be useful, all those things. Just be
I don't
good.
think that's
You know?
we're too too gone with that being humble and be grateful to things that we have. People don't have
hubris
the same
is
thing.
a very powerful thing. Arrogance will get you every single time.
Nowhere,
Oh yeah.
nowhere.
It happened to Alexander the Great. It happened to Nero. It happened to Genghis Khan. It happened to every great leader. Eventually, they got cocky and they got screwed because they stopped being humble. They stopped seeing it for the basic needs of what it was.
Absolutely. Let me just add one more point on the veteran and at the end of the day about the podcast is helping veterans succeed and have a prosperous life. I think there's me, I'm sure you guys are also me. One of the reason I went into venture into a company was to employ veterans and help friends that in this area in this part of the world they can't find job. You got to be kidding me. If you have a degree, you have a certification, and you're not able to find a job, I think that's a slap on the face of a lot of American citizens. We're employing people outsourcing to other countries, but we can't do the same thing. I know that labor is hard, but You're getting that big buck from the Uncle Sam, so why not spend it here? If we're going to do the same thing, maybe you have to increase your budget to fulfill that labor hour category, but you got to do it. You got to do what you got to do to keep the people happy, prosper. They need to bring food in the table. So that was the reason I venture into the business, Rosac Solution, where so far we have employed few individuals and we're doing great. And there's a lot of research. If you want to go into the business, I advise any veteran, go for it. If you have the will, you have the work ethic, and then you have a great idea that will you can sell that to the people, go for it. There's a lot of opportunities, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of workshops, there's a lot of funded government workshop that supports veterans to go do. There's a boots to boots that's funded by SPA. There's another program called OSU, Oklahoma State University, that is a 3-month basically MBA. Is a short version of MBA. If you want to do an MBA for military, that's it. I did that when I had that chance. I was grateful to be selected and go to that opportunity, which is a federal government funded, that basically is a short version of MBA. But they teach an MBA in 1 year. You do that in 3 months. And there's a lot of other great opportunities. There's always you get your service disabled certification. That puts you along, if you have a business, that puts you ahead of your peers. And a lot of companies, a lot of clients are looking for veterans. I hate to say that for other people that are not veterans, but if you're a veteran, people know that you have work ethic, you have a discipline, and you will get what the job is, no matter what. You're gonna be, clever, and then find ways to achieve that. Because for them, it's mission success. That's all what they care about. They don't care about who you are, if you can. And for them, and they always say that veterans are the best, because we've proven for years we win battles overseas, and we can do the same thing here, and just different meshes, different mission, but the goal is to achieve the what what's asked. So go for it. Don't ever hesitate. The war's not ending, so if you see there's a idea and there's opportunity, 100% go for it. You'll be success. There's no failure, and failure is not an option, frankly, for a lot of people nowadays in this inflation, in this economy. That's not an option.
Yeah, keep moving forward. That's what I tell people all the time. It's a short, easy line for a reason. Just keep moving forwards and reach out, and we'll put all you guys' information in the description and stuff like that below, like I said. And just make sure you guys are reaching out to each other, and yeah, let's do that. Steve, I'm gonna give you the floor for an ending here before we go behind the scenes.
There was a saying that I heard years ago. You only fail if you quit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, there you go.
yeah, this is why I don't quit.
Mm-hmm.
My cute little 3-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Seeing her happy, seeing them taken care of, that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing them grow up in an environment where they don't have to worry. I don't want you to worry about having to deal with people coming into your country trying to hurt you.
Yep.
I don't want you to grow up in a country where you've got hypodermic needles in public parks and people doing stuff in the streets, or seeing what crocodile does to a human body.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So if we quit at what we're trying to do, that's the only time you fail. When you put your hand on that stove and you burn your hand as a kid, you learned. So I want people to learn. I want people to learn the basics so that they can eventually build off of it and do the run, which is the AI level, which is the IT level. Which is seeing your children succeed.
Yep.
I mean, as a father of a child who's got borderline severe autism, not this one, I have seen him grow immensely over the past 13 years because I'm around and I'm seeing him and I'm spending my time at home in a productive manner so that I'm balancing, okay, I'm out there turning wrenches at a place that makes $100,000 kitchens or furniture pieces. But when I come home, the dad hat comes on.
Mm-hmm.
I split that. I don't bring my work home and I don't bring my home to work, because that balance is going to keep me balanced. That's something I didn't have in the military. I was always go, 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 go. You're going to be gone on this mission for 3-4 days to this unit in Florida, Georgia, Fort Hood. I will always call it Fort Hood because it's always going to be armpit of Texas. You want to see what you are creating live on in those who are going to come after you. To see that child or that adult have what I call an aha moment. I get it. And you let go of that bicycle and let them go. Seeing your kid ride a bicycle for the first time is the best analogy I can give you. When they get the basics and you let them go on and do great things, that's when you've succeeded. So if I'm able to create my business, which I'm putting all in on, then I'll be able to see that aha moment on a daily basis. And that drives me absolutely 100%. Because I cannot do everything.
And you haven't even seen that yet. Wait until you do see it. When you see clients in the room that are actually going, dude, yep, nailed it.
I did that when I was
so much fun.
volunteering as a Scoutmaster with the Boy Scouts of America. I'm not going to call it scouting, whatever they call it now. I was with the Scouts for 25 years, volunteering. I saw that so much with children. It was amazing. That feeling of seeing them get it. I want to see that with adults. I want to see that with teenagers. I want to see that with children, because then they have something that they can build from. Give them that toolbox, not, well, literally, but also emotionally.
Yeah.
Just like marriage counseling. It's a toolbox to pick and choose from and solve your problem and put it back. And to build it so it's no longer this tiny little Home Depot special, but now it's a condo level of mechanical box. That's what I want to see in life. Because I'm tired of pushing so hard for that boulder to go up to the top of the hill, only to be told, yeah, that wasn't a real job. Sorry, it's a ghost job. Yeah, I'm done with that. Now I've got the spike coming out, and I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'll do it myself.
That's where it's coming from. So they say your passion comes from your pain.
Yep.
Use it, teach somebody else so they don't go through so much of that pain. So
yeah, you don't want to see your children go through what you did.
Such a great ending. Such a great ending there. And I told you guys 2 hours goes by so damn fast. And we're already like an hour and 50 on our countdown clock.
Oh, sure.
We're gonna go behind the scenes for a few minutes here. So just Kendra, be prepared for that. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I mean, again, divine intervention of you guys being in the room together today, and we don't pre-screen folks and go, okay, who needs to be where? Are they medical stuff? Are they tech stuff? You guys just always seem to just, and how's that happen? Divine intervention in my mind. Prove me wrong.
There's always topics we can discuss, veterans.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what field, we always have, stories to share.
And you're right about veterans understanding veterans, because I can't talk about my issues to a civilian shrink. They don't understand.
They don't say fuck either, right?
It's like talking Greek to them. It's like, what are you saying? What's a con-op? And you have to go through this whole long Gutenberg Bible explaining stuff. But veterans understanding the veterans. That's why I picked up an RWB recently. I love the Legion, don't get me wrong, but those guys, 90% of them are Vietnam or older.
Yeah.
And I can't be part of the VFW because I don't want to be around drinking. I'm a recovered alcoholic, so that's out the door.
Good for you.
So RWB seems to be great. I love them. I encourage veterans to reach out to these veterans groups. RWB is great. Legion is okay if you can find a good post. VFW, if you like being around alcoholics. Shots fired. Do a writing group. I mean, there's even a veterans group for the Hells Angels.
That's cool. Interesting.
Finding your vibe attracts your tribe, basically. So vibe well.
Yeah.
Don't sit in misery and hoping that somebody's going to take pity on you, because nobody's going to give a damn. You got to do it yourself.
I talk about frequencies a lot because, yeah, you're right. Once you got to talk on everybody's frequency. And that's why I say if I'm talking to a guy and it's a book interview or something, it's maybe 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, man, if we're vibing this well, you need to be in my podcast. Because if this is 15 minutes and we've gotten this excited with each other, imagine what a 2-hour podcast will do with us.
Absolutely.
It's insane.
Or like the 11-hour that Sean Ryan did with Legend.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that one's going to take me a while to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
that was
shit.
two, I think 2.5 hour Legend. Yeah,
That's insane.
the guy from Afghanistan. Yeah.
I hope that guy lives. That is an interesting story, an interesting individual.
We're gonna knock it there. So Kendra, make sure you mark down about a 154. We're gonna split it up here. We're gonna go behind the scenes, but do some other stuff, chat for a little further. But appreciate you guys being here today. Appreciate everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Only veterans help veterans, so make sure you guys are sharing and subscribing. And you may not need to comment all the time, but at least make sure you're following these guys and be force multipliers. Get that frequency out there, do good shit, and keep it going.